Whoever said spacewalks and the catwalk should be mutually exclusive, not NASA, not SpaceX, and definitely not the new generation of astronauts who will be dressed to impress any aliens they may encounter in coming voyages. Today's video focuses on the fabric, no pun, of how humans survive the harsh conditions of space. We look at the history of astronaut suits and gear before turning toward what the very near future holds. Just how equipped is the modern astronaut? Well, let's take a look. Spacesuits are among the most important parts of space travel because they facilitate basic human functions and, of course, a lot of astronaut work. The suits have been around since we started going to space. That said, scientists have been developing full-pressure suits for extreme environmental conditions since the 1930s. The general concept of the spacesuit we know today is believed to be the brainchild of Soviet Union scientists. A Russian company called Zvezda has been designing and making spacesuits for the Soviet/Russian National Space Program since Yuri Gagarin first reached the cosmos in 1961. Zvezda also outfitted Alexei Leonov as he undertook the first human spacewalk in 1965. Today, Zvezda makes suits for all crewed Russian space missions, including those on the International Space Station, ISS. Today, Russia makes two spacesuit types, the Sokol series and the Orlan series. Suits in the former series are used during flight, while the suits in the latter are used for spacewalks. The US, on the other hand, has been developing spacesuits since at least the 1950s. The Mercury and Gemini programs saw a number of spacesuit prototypes worn by pilots and tested during high-altitude flights ahead of the adventurous Apollo missions, which were meant to send humans to the moon for the first time. In 1965, NASA finally gave the International Latex Company's ILC Special Products Division the contract to make spacesuits for the Apollo moon missions. ILC's attention to astronaut comfort and flexibility won the agency over, and after a few fireproofing modifications, the two had successfully collaborated on the Apollo Skylab A7L EVA and moon suits in 1968. With both countries being leaders in the space race over the years, it's only natural that Russia and the US are the best at making spacesuits. However, they follow very different philosophies. The Russians favor function above everything else, and they seldom deviate from what works. Both Zvezda's Sokol and Orlan have been in operation since the 1970s, and that fact doesn't look like changing soon. Other countries that want to focus on functionality, like China, often get their spacesuits from Russia. The US, meanwhile, is much more concerned with being at the cutting edge of technology. This philosophy emphasizes constant, marginal improvements in functionality and comfort. As a result, NASA has worked with more manufacturers to produce many more spacesuit lines than the Russians. There are also more iterations and variations for different parts of space venturing: lunar exploration, spacewalking, ejection escape, and so on. In 2024, we stand on the edge of more great space adventures. Perhaps the most exciting thing right now is the continued development of the SpaceX Starship, the vessel that looks set to take us back to the moon and, ultimately, onto Mars. At the time of this video's release, the Starship is being prepared for its 5th test flight, where it will attempt the first ever terrestrial vertical landing. To match this awesome new vessel, SpaceX collaborator NASA has looked to Axiom Space to produce the next generation of spacesuits and spacewalk gear. The new suit is known as the Axiom Extravehicular Mobility Unit, Axiom-U Spacesuit. According to its creators, Axiom-U aims to provide astronauts advanced capabilities for space exploration while providing NASA with commercially developed human systems needed to access, live, and work on and around the moon. But what does that mean exactly? Well, it basically means the suits are durable, comfortable, and equipped with more than enough technology to handle all aspects of lunar exploration. The Axiom-U is actually an improvement on NASA's own Exploration Extravehicular Mobility Unit, XSEMU. The XEMU concepts already boast features like enhanced upper body mobility, an environment protection garment, EPG layer with space dust mitigation, high-speed datacomms, and a 1-hour emergency return. Even more importantly, XEMU was fully integrated with NASA systems from the beginning. This means the Axiom-U is also integrated with NASA's other systems, which means there is minimal risk of clunky incompatibilities compared to a wholly third-party spacesuit. Axiom-U takes all of these existing features to the next level and will bring even more new ones. Both NASA and Axiom have kept a tight lid on specific details, but we do know that ergonomics will retain their role as a chief priority. If people are going to live on the moon for days, days or even months at a time, their suits should be as comfortable as possible. While the EMU spacesuit series is already the world's leading standard on fit and flexibility, AXEMU is on another level. Not only are wearers given amazing range of motion, but the suits also have an unprecedented level of fit. While not totally one size fits all, the new Axiom suit has been found to accommodate at least 90% of the US male and female population. Size flexibility is especially important for extended missions on the Moon or even Mars. You see, long stays in space can have a significant impact on your weight. A suit that can accommodate slight weight loss or gain without becoming unwearable is great because astronauts can spend less time worrying about balancing diet and exercise and more time on their core business during missions. Furthermore, size flexibility opens the door for more astronauts to venture into space. For the longest time, one's ability to actually fit into a spacesuit was a significant limiting factor. However, now the technology has advanced enough to allow the spacesuit to adjust to the wearer and not the other way around. The AXEMU also retains the EMU spacesuit line's trusty portable life support system, PLSS, which can support an astronaut for up to 8 hours at a time. Additionally, the PLSS is a modular component, meaning it can be swapped out quickly for another one without delaying mission objectives. The suit's outer layer fabrication remains a guarded secret for now, so we do not know what the AXEMU units will look like exactly. However, based on the prototypes unveiled in 2023, the new suit will be significantly sleeker than its predecessor. NASA aims to have the suit ready for the first crewed lunar mission, Artemis II, scheduled for the end of 2025. However, this may not be such an urgent goal because Artemis II is a simple flyby of the Moon. Artemis III will be the first crewed lunar landing, and with an expected 2026 launch date, the suit should be ready by then. In the meantime, NASA will continue testing. The space agency will begin by putting the suit through its paces on low Earth orbit spacewalks at the ISS before it gets the green light for the Moon. If it breezes through the Artemis missions, there's a good chance the Axiom may be the blueprint of the suit we'll be wearing when we finally touch down on Mars. That brings us to the end of today's video. Thank you very much for watching, and we hope you learned something new. We also hope you'll take the time to like the video and hit the subscribe button, as this really helps grow the channel. You should also hit the bell icon so you never miss out on new uploads. Until next time.
The team was very excited when we learned that we got the XEVAS contract, and to know that we're going to be a part of getting mankind back to the Moon is really exciting.
The suits that are used today were developed several decades ago, and originally they were developed for the space shuttle, and they're used in the International Space Station today, but if we want to go back to the Moon, then we need a new spacesuit.